I'm finally making another video after like 3 months. Anyways, here's how to make a Gorilla Tag Fangame in 2024. This will not cover everything you need to do. It's only the basics to set up your project and everything. So you will need to have Unity. I can't link anything in the description. So just search up a tutorial on how to get Unity Hub. And once you're in Unity Hub, you're gonna go over to installs. And you can install an editor. Personally, I like to use 2022.3.21 F1, and you can go ahead and use this one. It might be different because it's always updating. That's fine. You can download any version. So go ahead and click install here. Make sure you have Android build support, OpenJDK, and Android SDK and NDK tools installed or checked. And you can have Windows build support and that stuff checked, but it doesn't really matter. And then you're just gonna click continue, check this box here and click install. Once that's done installing, you can head over to new project and you'll look at this screen here. There's a lot of options, but what we want is 3D built-in render pipeline. Do not do VR Core. It does not have the stuff you need to make a Gorilla Tag Fangame in general. Name your project whatever you want. I'm just gonna make mine tutorial. And then you can click create project, and it'll create your project. Once your project has finished loading up, you can go ahead and open File, Project Settings. We're gonna delete main camera in a second, but don't right now. We don't really need to. So just head over to XR Plugin Management and install. Also, if it doesn't work when you install XR Plugin Management, it's because you're on an older version of Unity. All you need to do is install more up to date. Now you're gonna open a window and then Package Manager. Then do plus add package from get URL com.unity.xr.interaction.toolkit. What this does is it lets us gain access to other scripts in the future that we might need, and it'll let us code easier if we ever learn how to code. If this window pops up, just click yes and it'll reset the editor. Once that's finished, you can go ahead and close out of Package Manager if you want to, but first we're gonna add some more stuff though. You don't have to add these stuff, it's just to make developing your game a bit easier and make it look better. So up here in Packages, set it to Unity Registry by clicking on it and just click on Unity Registry. Then scroll down and you should find Universal RP around here. If you don't want to scroll down, you can always just search it up by typing in Universal and it'll pop up right here. Then just click install. And remember, it's fine if you don't install this, you don't need to. It's simply just to make your project better. Also, here's another note. Do not install high definition render pipeline. That does not work with VR games. Also, all of these things are subject to change in the future. Some of these methods could not work in the future. So you might have to look for more up-to-date tutorials, or I might make another update tutorial. But for now, this is the newest way of doing it. Once Universal RP is done downloading, it should pop something up down here. Don't worry, we're gonna use that later. Now you can go ahead and search up Pro Builder. This is for making maps in Unity. If you don't want to make maps in Unity, instead make them in Blender, it's fine. But we're gonna do both methods, so I'm downloading Pro Builder. Also, it's actually really good for even not making maps in Unity. It'll pop up a little thing where you can look at faces, edges, vertices, all that stuff. It also gives you the ability to subdivide objects in Unity. It's basically Blenderifying Unity. Also, if you want your URP in your project, it's important to get it at the start when you don't have any materials, because it's easier to set it up that way. If you have a lot of materials and all that stuff, and you try to make them back from being pink, I'll explain that later, and it won't work, you have to redo all your materials and all that stuff. So it's important to get URP at the start of your project. Now, if you're using URP you want to go ahead over to samples in ProBetter and add universal render pipeline support. That should install really fast. Now you can close out of package manager. Now we're gonna get the setting up VR itself. Go ahead and do OpenXR. Also, you don't have to do all that package manager stuff before you actually do XR plugin management. You can go ahead and do that after or before, it doesn't matter. All these warnings pop up, that's fine, just click fix all here. If it doesn't do anything, that's fine. It's gonna fix later. Now, you can head back over to OpenXR, then switch render mode to multipass. Now, in enabled interaction profiles, click this plus here and add Valve Index controller profile. This will make it so people can play on Valve headsets, and add Oculus Touch controller profile and make it so people can play on Oculus headsets. You do not need to add MetaQuest Touch Pro. People can still play on the MetaQuest Pro headset. It does not matter if you add that or not. Now head over to the Android here, then switch render mode to multipass again. Then on the plus, just add Oculus Touch because Valve Index is not an option here. And if you head over to project validation, you see that there are no more warnings. Ignore that. Go back to XR plugin management. You should be on the Android. If not, just click on it and add Oculus. Once you have Oculus installed, head over to the Oculus tab here. In stereo rendering mode, switch from multi-view to multipass and check low overhead mode. Now head over to the desktop and switch this to multipass. You shouldn't have any warnings in project validation. You can go ahead and close out of project settings. And I actually forgot to do some stuff in package manager, so we're gonna reopen that and head over to in project. Scroll all the way down, go to XR interaction toolkit. Now in version history, downgrade it to 2.5.4 if it's already on the version. Don't mind it. You don't have to downgrade it. See, it's recommended. And the newer version does not have some of the options that we need. Once it's done downgrading, head over to samples and import starter assets. And reopen project settings. Sorry for this tutorial being all over the place. I just keep forgetting a lot of importance. If this error pops up, just click fix on it. It should go away like that. Now we can finally close package manager and we will not have to reopen it, don't worry. And when you import starter assets, it should pop up with this screen. It should be assets, samples, XR interaction toolkit 2.5.4. Now double click on starter assets here and double click on presets. Now it'll pop up with all these things. Do not worry, it's not complicated. All you need to do is click on each one of them and click add up here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it to all of them. And one thing I like to do is I like to recheck them to make sure I've actually added all of them. You probably won't have missed any, but it's good to check anyways. So once you've done that, you can go back to assets by clicking here. Now in project settings, you can head over to preset manager, and in here on action-based controller, make sure it says action-based controller and action-based controller only, and it should have three options here: right, left, and gaze. Now on right controller, type in right, and left controller, type in left. You don't have to type anything for gaze, but I like doing it just because. And you can actually finally make a URP folder. Call it URP, and this is where we're gonna put all of our URP stuff. You should have this render tab here if you installed URP. And if you can't scroll down, that's fine. Just click these arrows here. And rendering, make sure you hover over it and it'll pop up this window and click on URP asset with universal render. Do not click on anything else, just name it URP. And now we're gonna head over to graphics. We're gonna drag our URP thing into here and just click continue if this pops up. And in culling settings, you can just check lights and shadows. Now we can close project settings. We'll not be doing anything and if you want to change a project name and make it look different, you can head over to file, build settings, player settings, and it should pop up with this. You can change a company name to anything you want. So I'm just gonna name it tutorial. And product name, you can name it anything like Monkey Man. or anything. And you can change your icon for the game. What this does is it'll change the icon for your game, like in that little box on your recently played games in your headset. And you can go ahead and close out of this once you've done everything you want to do. Now we're gonna make a folder called Ignore. What this does is it organizes everything we don't want. So we're not gonna want samples, URP, XR, or XRI, because we're not gonna be changing anything within them. If you want to make more scenes, like make it so you can make like level 1, 2, 3, you can add more scenes like that. Or you can make a tutorial scene. So we're gonna go ahead and keep scenes in here. Now we're gonna go ahead and actually get the Gorilla Locomotion. So you're gonna wanna open your browser. Now in your browser, you're gonna wanna search up Gorilla Locomotion. It should pop up with another Axiom / Gorilla Locomotion. If it says sponsored here, do not click it under any circumstances. If it says sponsored, just scroll down until you find this. Now you're gonna click on it and go to code and download zip. Now you can go ahead and extract the file. It should pop up with this, and it should have this package in here. You can go ahead and drag it out of it. It doesn't matter if you do, but once you have it, that you can go ahead and delete these folders. You will not need them anymore. Now you can close out your browser and go back. Now you can go in your files and drag in your Gorilla Locomotion from your file explorer, just like this. Or you can right click, import package, custom package, and find your package and double click on it, just like this. It should pop up with this. Just click all and import. And if it pops up this, just click reload. Do not make your map before importing Gorilla Locomotion. It will delete your map. Now you can finally delete main camera. You will not need that. It'll make your game bug out. And it should add a resources and scripts folder. You're gonna wanna head to resources, Gorilla Prefabs, and drag your Gorilla rig into your scene. Personally, what I like to do is up here in the transform box, make it 000, not 000, 1.24, just to make it a little bit above where your ground's gonna be. Now you can stop messing with that, and you can go ahead and click on favorites and all materials. And here, just click on anything and do Control A, and it should select everything. Now go up to edit, rendering, materials, convert selected built-in materials to URP. This is why you would do not make any materials before importing URP, because sometimes it won't work and it won't change it back from being pink, and you'll have to redo all your materials. Once that's done, you can head over back to assets by just clicking on it. Now you will be using scripts and resources in the future, so do not drag them into your Ignore folder. Now we're gonna go ahead and do our lighting. If you don't see this tab right here, that's fine. Just click on Window, Rendering, Lighting, and it should pop up with a window. And you can go ahead and drag it into your inspector. You might have a lighting settings asset, but if you don't, you just click New. What we're going to be doing is entirely in light mapping settings. Ignore all this stuff up here. You do not need it. Now in Light Mapper, just select Progressive GPU Preview. Click Importance Sampling. Environment samples to 256. Light Probe Sample to 5. Filtering Advanced. Direct Denoiser. Just keep that none. And make this radius under Gaussian 2. And keep the radius here. Set light map resolution to 20 and set max light map size to 256. Light map compression to normal. Wait, no, high, I mean. Ambient occlusion on. Make the max distance 2. Indirect contribution 1. Direct contribution 2. Indirect intensity to 1.5. And make direction mode non-directional. Now you have your lighting settings ready. You do not have to bake it right now. But if you want any object to make, so I'm just going to go ahead and make this cube. And if I go ahead and bake my lighting like this, as you can see, it does not bake it at all. If you want any of your objects to bake, you will need to set it as static up here. Now, if you bake it again, it should bake normally. The reason it doesn't really change is because it's just a cube. It does not have any stuff around it, but it will work. I promise you that. Now, we're gonna make the entire game. So if you're using Pro Builder, head over to Tools, Pro Builder 1. Wait, I cannot talk. Tools, Pro Builder window. Click on that. It should pop up with this. Drag this over to your inspector here. I like to sort it out like this. Pro Builder, inspector before Pro Builder, before the lighting. Now, this is what I was talking about. It's basically the blender of Unity. Now, you can click on new shape. You can make a plane, which is basically this. It is not visible from underneath, so you can make a one-way window. And new shape, you can make a cube. It's just a cube, but you can make it a rectangle, whatever you want. And you can have a cylinder. You can adjust the sides count. See, it only has 6 sides, but if I make it 10 sides, it'll be more smooth, like this. Also, skip to this timestamp if you don't care about Pro Builder and just want to make your map in Blender. Now we can make a door. It's literally just a door, like that. Now, this is a prism. It's just a triangle. It's basically just a ramp. Stairs, literally just stairs. It all pretty much explains itself. Torus is basically just a donut shape. Arch, it's an arch. Pipe, it's a pipe. Now we're gonna do a lot of organizing. This will make your project easier to work with and easier all around. It's fine if you don't organize, but it will be harder to find everything. So we're gonna make a folder called Textures and Assets with this symbol as the and. In this folder, we're gonna go ahead and make 4 more folders. The first one being colors, second one being non-bright colors, I'll explain that, and models for all our models, and images for all of our image textures. If you misspell, you can right click and click rename to just redo it, and click enter or just click off to save it. Also, if you want to save your project, you can do Control S to save it as a shortcut. You can head up to File and Save Project or save it here. Now in colors, we're going to make a material. Just don't do anything with it right now, and just click off and click back on it to solve any bugs we might have, and turn smoothness all the way down. All the way down. If you have a normal map or a height map, I'll explain that later, you might want smoothness if it's the correct texture you want it for. Turn on emission and click on it and do Control C and then Control V, and it should duplicate it like that, and do it one more time and select all of them by clicking on one, and on the last one by holding down Shift, or you can click on each one by holding down Control. Now do Control C and then Control V about 3 times. So like 1, 2, 3. Now we have 12 colors. It's gonna take a while to do all of these, so I'm just gonna show you all the names you need. So we're gonna have red, we're gonna have black, we're gonna have blue, we're gonna have cyan, we're gonna have purple, we're gonna have pink, we're gonna have orange, we're gonna have yellow, we're gonna have brown, we're gonna have green, we're gonna have maroon, and now we can go ahead and add all the colors. So in base map, next to base map here, you should see this little rectangle here, and because we're doing black, we're just gonna drag it down here, and we will not have to do anything with the mission because it's already black. Now in blue, we're gonna, in this little thing here, you can hold down click and drag it around. We're gonna set it to blue and drag it over here. Now in a mission map, we're gonna click this little pencil here and drag it over to our blue here, and it should look like that. If we did not have a mission, it would look like this. But that's for non-bright colors. Now for brown, we're gonna make it orange and drag it down like here. Now we're gonna do the same thing we did with blue, and just go ahead and do that for all of your other colors. Now we have all our colors, but we're gonna move all of them over to non-bright colors. So we're gonna click on black, hold down shift and click on the last one we have. Now do Control C, move over to the non-bright colors and do Control V. Now select all of these. If some of them are looking weird, that doesn't matter, it's fine. And just select all of them and turn off emission. And now we have all of our colors that are not bright. Now we can go to textures and assets, and we're gonna head over to images. I'm gonna teach y'all how to add in textures from a website called Ambient CG. So we're gonna make a folder called Ambient CG folders, not Ambient CG folders, Ambient CG textures. Now we're gonna drag in all of our image textures we have. If you need one, you can just get some from like searching up grass texture seamless from Google. So I'm gonna go ahead and import all the textures I'm gonna use. If you have a player model you're gonna import, make sure you drag in the image textures for the fur and face and stuff. Now, once you have your stuff, you're gonna go ahead and drag each of the pictures onto your plane. It will not work if you drag it onto a Blender model, but it will work with these materials. Also, check here if the shader is anything but Universal Render Pipeline lit. If it's not, you can just switch it. Just drag on one and make sure it's on Universal Render Pipeline is lit. So let's check. It's on it now, but it doesn't have the base map. How we're gonna fix that is we're gonna click this little lock and go back to images, and we can drag the Bark Seamless onto base map, and it should work like that. Now we can drag all the other ones and turn off the lock. Now we can check all of them, and now select all of them and turn down the smoothness. This will make your game like 10 times better, I promise you. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make walls, all right? Select this little three-way cut here and select all of your edges here by holding down shift or control. Now do Control E to extrude it and just drag it up. Do Control E again to extrude it and just scale it down. And click F to focus on it. Just look up and focus on it. You do not want to scale it down all the way at one point. So now that's small enough so the player can't see where the hole is. And now we have a box, but we want the wall textures to be different. So select this face icon here and just select all of your walls and drag your texture onto the faces. Now we have brick walls, but we want the roof different. That's fine, we just do the same thing. It should look like this. It should look a little weird, that's fine. So now we have our textures all in place. Also, these textures will work on any Blender model. Now we have a block, and here's where we're gonna be modeling in Blender, or modeling a map in Blender. So go ahead and open Blender. There are lots of ways to make a map in Blender, but I'm pretty sure the most used one is just mesh, plane, scale it out. You can add walls by selecting the edges. Add walls, extrude it, and you can give it a subdivision surface like that. Make it, a little rampy style. You can do that. It doesn't matter what you do. There's a lot of ways. Make sure you make it on the y-axis so it's actually in front. So you can make a plane. You can go into Y view, but don't do that yet. Press 2 to go to edge selection. Select these two edges, go to Y view, extrude it up, and now you have a wall. But there's another way to do it that I learned from someone actually. So you're gonna go ahead and subdivide this top face like a lot of times. Now you can go ahead and select it by like 2 by 2, I'd say, and make sure you're holding down shift the entire time, and just select all the faces of what your map would be like, what you want it to be like. There you go, very basic map. So now you can right click, separate, selection. Now you can delete all of this other useless stuff around it. Now you have this. Do tab A, go to Y view and extrude it down like a little bit. Now you have this, but you can't see through it. That's fine. Just click this arrow, then click back face culling. Now you have your basic map. If you want it to be like a cave, select it, add modifier, generate subdivision surface, and you can put this up for house. Now it's a little cavey style, but it's not that good. So you can just go ahead and drag this out. You can drag all of your stuff out to make it a little bit more jagged. And make sure you add intervals in the floor like this. Like it'll have a dip right there. It could go like up right here. Do whatever you want. What you can do is you can add a plane. You can go over to sculpting. You can activate this thing called Dine Topo. Just click on that box and click OK, and you can draw. You can draw anything you want. You can draw a hill. You can draw everything. And if you hold down Control, you can draw a cave in here like so. So you can just draw a cave like that and add some more on it. And add some more on it by looking from underneath. You can add the strength to go a little bit faster. You can make it go to the side. This. You can just spam click it. You can up the radius too if you want to spam click it. I don't understand why it's so buggy for me though. But you can just go crazy. Do whatever. I don't care. It's your project. Now we can texture it in Blender. So just select everything and make it whatever you want. I do not know how to image paint. I do not know how to do that in Blender. What I do when I make maps in Blender, I do not go for the sculpting method though, because it's really hard to texture. So if you have it textured, just click this beep ball up here, and it should look like this. That's because you have not done this in UV editing. Just click UV up here, Smart UV Project, okay, and it should pop up here. Drag this back, click beach ball, and you should see your dirt texture. Drag it out to make it more, what's it called? I don't know. You can click this to just like that, and you can make a new material, assign it, image texture, open, and there we go. We have our cave, a basic cave. Sorry I don't sound as enthusiastic anymore. I've been recording for like an hour. Anyways, once you have that done, you can go up to File, Save, and save it as whatever name you want. Just gonna name it Map, say Blender file, and just close out of it. Now we're gonna go ahead and import it into our models folder. Now just go into wherever you saved it at and just drag it in. Now it should be here, but it's kind of small, ain't it? So if you're on any one of these things, you can't interact with it. So now if it's white here, that's because you do not have the image you used on it. So you can go ahead and drag any other material on it, or you can import whatever image you use for it. So there we go. I imported it in the wrong folder. You can just click and drag it to the correct folder here. Now you can just drag it onto here, and it should work like that. Turn down the smoothness, and there we go. We have a basic map, and it's shiny. So you're gonna want to drag the material you have in Unity onto it. And since it's so small compared to our player, we can just go ahead and size it up like so. Now here's a very important part that you always do. It does not have a mesh collider. So make sure to add a component mesh collider, or your player will just fall through it when they go onto it. So always make sure you have a mesh collider on. Now we can go ahead and make both of these statics and bake our lighting final. And as you can see, it's already working, even though it's not finished yet. So now as you can see, it is working like so. It's bad in here because I messed up, and it's bad in here because there is a directional light. But if you want to go for more of a horror theme, you can go to Environment, Skybox Material, and scroll up None. What this will do, it'll make it so everything is dark, and delete your directional light as well. Now everything is dark, but it's not completely dark. That's because of this ambient color. If you drag this down to all the way black, as you can see, it's just darkness. And if you generate lighting, it will be pitch black. Like you will not see anything. Now it is pitch black now. But if we add a light, a point light, look at what happens. We can add a light in the cave, like so. And we can add another light in here. We can change the range of it. We can make it high. We can change the intensity. like so. We can do the same for this one. Make it high, make the intensity high, and there we go. Now, that concludes this tutorial. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. One more thing, one more bonus thing. On your lights, you can have it as soft shadow, and you can rebake your lighting. What this will do, it will make it look better. Look at this. It doesn't really look different, but trust me, it looks a lot better. Also, one more thing, always shade smooth your maps, everything you do. If it looks weird, just do shade auto smooth. And that actually concludes the tutorial. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and see ya.